Well, hello and surprise, it's me. Yes, it's been many months since I've been online. This is Miss Esther, and here I am back with some history. However, I really want to talk about what's happening in the present world and what's uh, its significance with history is. And so I'm sorry it's been so long. The last 6, 7 months, the last part of 2021 proved to be very difficult. Matter of fact, 2021 just proved to be really difficult. And I thought 2020 was difficult, but I had a lot of just massive losses when it came to COVID. Very hurtful, painful ones, still painful um, when I even think about it. And so this is a historical time we're living in. This is January of 2022 right now. And so I'm also a school teacher, middle school. Lots of, it's been a very different year. I can truly say that. And a lot of grading, a lot of situations that we have to deal with. We have students that's been out for a long time. And so it's there. A lot of people are having a hard adjustment getting back to school. So it's really been quite a period of time in history, and I'm sure we will be reflecting back on this for a while and learning from it. So I want to talk to you about things that we need to learn from history. And even let's just talk about what's going on in the world and why it concerns me right now, why I'm doing this here little broadcast today. I'm concerned about World War III. Yeah. We know World War One was pretty rough. World War One just had the greatest casualties in history, and he thought nothing could be so bad until World War Two came. And I assure you, we don't want to see World War Three. So let's talk about it. Let's not sweep anything under the rug. And so that's the reason I had to come back, despite the fact that I have hundreds of things to grade right now and so much to do. But I wanted to take a few minutes and just talk to you all about why I'm concerned about World War III. Let's go back in history just to the time prior to World War II. People like to talk about World War II and they talk about Hitler invading Poland, but what they leave out is the fact that there was some appeasement toward Hitler before he invaded Poland, and that was in the Sudetenland. That was a part of Czechoslovakia. Now, let's just slip back into World War One just for a second. If you want to see something interesting, look at how the map looked. Go to older maps and look at how the map looked before World War One and how it looked after World War One. You would be surprised how many countries were developed during that time. Well, so anyhow, after World War One, you have Czechoslovakia and Sudetenland. It's a part that there are a lot of Germans in that area, and that all became a part of Czechoslovakia after World War One. And so you have the 1930s that come up. There's so much that I'm missing in the midst of this, but Hitler has come to power, and he at first he wants Sudetenland. This is what he says. Not Czechoslovakia, the country, just Sudetenland. After all, that's mostly Germans. And there were Germans inside of Sudetenland that were, they wanted that too. But the countries around in England and all that, they appease Hitler with this. They appease them, but you should never appease anyone that wants to take over any part of a country. And if you have to appease them, that means that if you didn't appease them, there would be war, right? So this is what we were dealing with. Of course, I wasn't dealing with it then. I'm not that old. I wasn't back then. But this is what they were dealing with back in those days. And so I'm just trying to get through this very quickly so that this will not be a really long history thing. But they appeased Hitler. And so what happens? Yes, he did take Sudetenland. But eventually, of course, he took all of Czechoslovakia, which was not German. So his intentions all along was to take over that whole area. And eventually, no appeasement would work for him. He invaded Poland, and then, of course, World War II starts because, hey, people realize this guy's trying to take over the world, right? Okay, so we have situations going on right now where maybe China feels justified to try to take back Taiwan. After all, it used to be Chinese, right? And Russia may feel justified to take back the Ukraine. And after all, it used to be a part of Russia, right? Okay. But do you see how history has taught us that this is a dangerous situation? All right. If these countries are independent nations and have been for years now, they are that way for a reason and they want to remain that way. And I don't care what this other nation says, they have no right to try to take them over by their armies and violently. That is an act of war. So when you have an act of war, what happens? What creates a world war today? It is the alliances. If you look back at World War I, when you see the conflict starts after the Archduke's assassination, what happens is you have all these alliances on one side or the other. What kind of alliances would happen if Russia invades the Ukraine and tries to take it over? Which countries are on what side? And the same with China invading Taiwan. What countries are on which side? And also we have a conflict with Israel and with Iran. So there are three major things going on. And I'm sure this is not the only conflicts going on in the world, but those are three major ones that probably bother me the most that I'm seeing. I do see that there are other frictions happening, but these are very troublesome to me. Remember, if a country wants to use violence to try to take over another country, a nation that maybe was once a part of theirs, but not anymore, and try to justify it because of that, remember, they're not going to just stop there. As a matter of fact, look back in history at any conquerors that said they wanted just a part of this or part of that. Did they just stop there? They never do. They always want more, and they always go for more, and it always causes havoc and great war. So we are on the verge of great war. It's right there, right in front of our eyes. History has taught us this, and we have reasons to be concerned, and we have reasons to write our congressman, to write our president, and say, hey, we're concerned about what is going on. And, you know, we want whatever activities that can happen, any negotiations to stop it that can happen. Sometimes, however, you can't stop war, but you need to be aware of what's happening, because if a country does have to go into war, then you need to prepare for that. And we all need to prepare for what might happen this year. We were not prepared for the pandemic. And look at all the trouble that we've had in the last 2 years because of it. And if you think a pandemic is bad, and they are bad, as you all see, war is even worse. And those of us in the United States, we feel like, well, you know, nothing's going to touch us. It's not going to be over here. And I know I talk to young people a lot, and they just feel very indifferent and feel like nothing can touch them. But I tell you, things can touch us. And so I am a little preoccupied about the possibility of a World War III breaking out. Now, do you think that I am justified? I've told you why, and I've showed you in history what's happened. So I would like to hear your comments and hear what you believe. I'd like to speak to you. Please don't be rude, because I don't mind you contradicting me. I'm good with that. That's good conversation. But I've had people get on here and just say some really kind of mean things. And so I just ask you to have a nice, courteous dialogue. Let me know what you think about this, okay? All right, so I left a lot of things out, but I think you guys get my drift, as we used to say back in the 70s and 80s. All right, I hope we don't have World War III ever. But all the things going on in the world, it looks like we might. So, hey, I hope this year becomes better, and I hope this pandemic gets better, and I hope your life gets better, and my life gets better too. This is Miss Esther with a little bit of history. It's been a long time, but I hope to hear from you. Hey, if you like what I'm saying, if you think other people should hear it, please like and subscribe. Not subscribe, I mean. Please like and subscribe this channel so that we can get the word out and we can do more. The more people that we add, the more that I can do, the better equipment I can get. I'd like to have some conversations with a whole lot of people about what's going on. All right. Hey, okay, I'm going to let you guys go. It's been over 10 minutes. I didn't mean for that to happen. All right. Look, best to you all. Bye-bye.